Let's start off with this. So good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the webinar on the Mdes program on design-led innovation run by Srishti Manipal Institute of Art, Design and Technology. We have the head of studies, Dr. Sanjukta Ghosh here, and several of our alumni who are working in various sectors, who were part of this program earlier and who are working at various sectors in the industry, to tell us about how the program helped them and what they're doing now. So I'm Mahesh Bhatt. I'm a senior faculty member at Srishti. Let me briefly introduce my colleague Sanjukta, she's been working at Srishti since about 2015. Sanjukta, correct me if I'm wrong. And she is a PhD in management studies. She has been at IIT Kharagpur earlier, and before coming to Srishti, and she's been here teaching at various levels and disciplines, and right now she is running this design-led innovation. I beg your pardon. So Sanjukta, over to you, and if you could give us a brief introduction about this program and what is design-led innovation.
Thank you, Mahesh. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you to all the panelists to become part of the program and being the part of the show. So just to briefly introduce about the program, we conceived this program in 2015, which is a 2 years master's Mdes program. The main objective during that time was we were looking for some aspiring professionals, mainly who have completed their 4 years of degree program, to join this course and to let certain principles, which is again in line with Srishti at that point of time, and to think a problem in a little alternate way. Means it's little different, creative, innovative, original way, and not a traditional way of thinking a problem and addressing a problem, what the industry or many mainstream professional courses was thinking at that point of time. So, with that idea in mind, and with lot of vision, we launched this program in 2015, and we 7 to 8 students, aspiring professionals, joined during that time. And then we tried at that point of time, from that we took the program forward. And the interdisciplinary culture in Srishti, or a transdisciplinary culture in Srishti, which allowed all professionals or the aspiring professionals to navigate across various programs or courses across various disciplines, and which we felt and we still believe that it nurtures a lot of creative and open thinking, and it opens many ground to an individual to take and think a problem from a multidimensional perspective. So, and having said that as a base for this program, and which is also a culture for Srishti as well, which nurtures and harness creative intelligence to a great extent. And on top of that, which is specific to the program, is we try to build, it's design thinking all around, which is a buzz word now, but that is a fundamental for the program. But we are trying to base the program on 3 major principles. One is design, another is business, and technology. So all these 3 intersection of all these 3 programs, all these 3 disciplines, allows an individual to make certain critical thinking, to develop a critical thinking, make certain strategic role in a real life business problem or a social problem. So these are the major underlying principles for design-led innovation program. And it's a 2 years full-time program, which is based on project-based learning system.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, so we have been running this program since 2015, isn't it?
Yes.
Great. So right now, I guess we are the degree is being given by Manipal Academy of Higher Education. We're a constant unit of Mahe now. And now, anyway, going to our first panelist, Arvind Thampi. Sanjukta, would you like to introduce him so that then we can start off with the...
So yes, so Arvind was in our first batch, and Arvind is now leading a product development team in Decathlon Play. And he was always closely being part of the program, and we have a lot of discussion with him. So I felt that it is good to have Arvind on board today. So over to you, Arvind. Yes.
So Arvind, do tell us about a little bit of your background before you joined this program, and why did you choose DLI, or Design-Led Innovation, to do your masters, please?
Yeah, thanks, Mahesh. Thanks, Sanjukta. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me just start by thanking Srishti Manipal Institute for this opportunity. I mean, the 2 years that I spent here immensely helped me to transform myself and bring a fresh perspective in my work. So I was really happy to accept this opportunity when Dr. Sanjukta Ghosh called me for it. So about myself, my name is Arvind. I currently head the product team at Decathlon Play, where we're building a strategic platform to foster a culture of playing sports in the community. And I've been building and designing digital systems for the last 14 years, previously with Infosys and Mindtree, and now with Decathlon. Towards why did I come into the program in DLI? I think I've been I would say I've been very curious and inquisitive ever since I was a kid, and always very interested in building rudimentary tools, or making models, opening up my toys, and so on. So I kind of naturally gravitated towards engineering, and began my career as an engineer building digital systems. But somewhere during that journey, I started to observe there was something more than just technology that was responsible for the success of products. And that curiosity kept me asking questions as what is it that why are some products made easier? Why are some digital products? Why do some digital products connect with you at a certain emotional level? Why do certain products fail? Why do products succeed? So these kind of questions were always in my mind as I went through my career. So that sort of inquiry was what led me to understand that there is this idea or this concept or the subject called design, and also the role called product management, and what it might be able to help. So those were the kind of inquiry that kind of led me to look for options where I can, do a higher education, Mahesh. So just to add on, I mean, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
So, yeah, okay. When I was trying to look for a higher education, I was very sure that I wanted to migrate from engineering to a product management role. Obviously, the logical choice was an MBA, and that's where my friends and family also recommended. But there was, due to my interest in this area, due to my, study in this area, I had a gut feel that the design school could be the path, an alternate path that would really connect with me as a person. And that got really validated when I came to Srishti, talked to the faculty, understood about the program. So design-led innovation was just starting off at that point. And the way that it was constructed was that it was a good blend of design and business marketing, two topics. So that entire structure, the interactions with the community, the faculty, it really made me very convinced that this is the path that I need to take. And I jumped into the 2 years master's program at Srishti. Yeah, that's been the background, Mahesh. I think you're on mute.
Yeah, okay. So the next, before I go to the next question, a small note to the participants. If you have any questions, please type it in the chat box and we will address them at the end, after everybody, we go through the discussions with all the participants, all the panelists. Yeah, please type in your questions. One, before I move on to Gautam, there is one question, Arvind, is what, how was it? What was before you came in and after you graduated? Can you very briefly tell us, what changed? What were your takeaways?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead, Arvind.
Yeah. So I'll just touch upon the role of product management to be clear. I mean, product management is a new role in India. It's just been really getting popular in the last 5 to 10 years because of the influx of product companies, startups, and so on in India. So essentially, a product manager sits at the intersection of business, technology, and design. So you have to be somebody who is experienced in at least one, passionate about all the three, and able to converse very easily with all the practitioners. So the role essentially is cross-disciplinary and needs one to collaborate with various stakeholders. So I mean, in my role today as a product leader, I wear multiple hats throughout the day. So one part of it is defining the vision in alignment to the business model. That's the business hat. Listening to customer needs and problems, empathizing with them, that's the design hat. Building an actionable plan, prioritizing, leading the team, and not through influence, but through through influence and not through authority. So you've got to wear a storyteller's hat at that point. And of course, building the product with the team, you've got to have the leadership and the business hats. Then maybe the engineering hat, you've got to work with the technology team. So as you can see, this role it cuts across multiple streams, and here is where the DLI programs really helped me, because the course fundamentally the foundational skills that it builds in you in how to look at things in a multidimensional way, how to collaborate with people, how to understand different design innovation models. And I think the overall culture at Srishti also has really helped, because the 2 years that I spent there, there's a lot of focus on finding the right problems instead of finding the right solutions. So you spend a lot of time going through understanding systems, interdependencies, finding what's the root causes, and so on. So these are things that I use on a daily basis. So apart from the tech skills, and I mean the skills per se, the culture and the pedagogy has really built foundational skills, I would say, Mahesh. And I would also really put an emphasis on the art of storytelling, because an idea is not an idea unless you are convincing with it. So in a space where you're working with ideas on a day-to-day basis and you're trying to understand which works, which doesn't work, storytelling becomes an art that you need to be conversant with. And storytelling is something that you learn very, very early on, Srishti, because if you're not able to convince even your peers and your colleagues and your faculty, then you don't go further. So these are some of the things that really changed in me, Mahesh, through this journey. I think yes.
Sorry. But yeah, thank you, Arvind. I may have a question later, but I'll come back to you. Sanjukta, do you want to introduce Gautam so we can go to Gautam?
Yeah, thank you so much, Arvind. It's nice because as we all know that product management and product development is one of the lucrative option that people are thinking of. Most of the aspiring professionals look for it. And the way you have articulated the way we have thought the program also in terms of how do we kind of intersect business and technology with design thinking is something which we are now constantly doing and trying to impart that. So now over to Gautam. Gautam started his journey with Srishti in 2017. He was always an entrepreneur in mindset, and it's very, very self-motivated from the beginning. And he is a co-founder of In Unity, his own organization. And here we want Gautam to touch upon the entrepreneurial skill which gets generated through the program. Thank you. Over to Gautam and Mahesh. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Sanjukta. Gautam, you are an entrepreneur. You have your own. You're a co-founder of a company, and it'll be interesting to know. Yeah, please do tell us very briefly about your background. Before you came into Srishti, and I guess you had the entrepreneurial mindset when you joined, and therefore, if you could tell us again, what made you choose this particular program and how it helped you in your journey. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thanks to the entire fraternity of Srishti for giving this opportunity, and hello to my seniors and my juniors as well, and hi to all participants here. So I'm an engineer basically, and my bachelor's was in mechanical engineering, and my 4 years of engineering was, I don't say that it was boring, it was very much interesting because I was involved in making projects. The institution that I belonged to was not the top institution in the region, but the institution itself was striving to do much better. So I was pushed into taking part in competitions in IITs and NITs and trying to see what do these kids at IITs and NITs do, right, as engineers, where do they take part in competitions and events. So that's how that journey slowly took me into the realm of making ATVs, building ATVs at institutional level. As a team, we took part in national level events and all these competitions. Now, while we were doing this, we also had a small team. The reason I'm saying we is because there was already a team that started in the first year in engineering, and this team is still working closely as a team. And while we were doing this, we found that we are all building good projects in our engineering, but somewhere we felt that from an event perspective, it's all good, right? You get some prizes, competitions, and award, but where is the impact of it, right? Who is getting benefited of all the bonds that we built? Every year it's the same ATVs with some modification, some weight reduction. But can the same ATV get into the agricultural field, right? Can there be an impact from that sort of purview? Now that's when I was in my final year, we all as a team said that, hey, when we are so good at building things, why do we have to get apart and get into employment, and rather see why can't we give the same experience that we took across in our engineering time to our colleague, to our fellow people who are joining engineering. So that's how we started. We started our enterprise in 2015. So 2 years we were figuring out, okay, how do students can envision a better opportunity and make use of their technical skills in building solutions that can impact the community. Now, this was very early stage. As I said, in 2015, we just graduated, but we were still trying to figure out how things could be done. Now, that's when my passion towards design was always there. But I was trying to figure out where is that perfect program that could help me in taking my venture ahead, as well as add on to the skill sets of design that I have within me. So I did refer to a lot of programs in various campuses. Most of them were just focusing either only on design. right? Or if I go into something like MBA, then it would focus only on business aspects of it. But the design-led innovation, and I'm sure, and I'm really happy to say that I'm a DLI student, because that itself was the best platform that I received, wherein I could apply the aspects of design, which I'd already learned in my bachelor's time, to taking it into the innovation stream by using aspects of business and technological integration happening in the program. So that's how I came into SIST, and while I could also share my experience of how and what happened in SIST. That's where we're going next.
That's great. So it's interesting that how it has helped you. I mean, your journey led to. I mean, your exploration to find the right program led to Srishti, and that we're happy that it helped you. So do tell us, give us a brief idea about your company, what you're running, Gautam.
Right. So we are a part of Inunity. So Inunity stands for Innovation for Community. And the reason why we started this is there are almost 600 million youth in our country, and India's aspiration to become a 5 trillion economy and to generate 10 million jobs every year until 2030. If this needs to happen, then you need more job providers than job seekers, right?
Right.
For that to be achieved, but just skill is not sufficient, right? Though the nation is working towards various skilling programs happening across the country, but just skills will not do it. And that's where I feel skill set along with mindset is what makes it possible. So what we do at Inunity is we bring together the community, the academic institutions or the youth in these institutions, and the expertise from various tech backgrounds to come together at a single place, wherein we have these centers. We have 8 of them located across Karnataka, in districts like Mangaluru, in Bangalore, we have 4 of them, in Belgaum, in Kalburgi, and also in Mysore. So we are trying to target into Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, because 60% of the youth are in these regions, right? So if the majority of the youth are in this region, how could we empower them to become more job providers than just becoming job seekers? And through Inunity, we try to make this as a platform for students to think beyond just getting placed into companies, but rather see how job creation could also be something that is something that could be taken as a profession, and not just get scared that, hey, entrepreneurship is not for us. It is for the MBAs, or it is for the elites out there. And we have tried and tested this model over the duration of 6 years. We see good results coming out. So even students who are pursuing their final year of engineering have got grants from Elevate Karnataka, from the DST, up to a tune of 25 to 30 lakhs to test and take their pilots to MVP stage. Now, and we feel that the 5 trillion economy dream is definitely can be achieved. And the reason why this is possible, I don't say is only because of us, because it's also because of the initiative that the nation is thinking of across. Now, how the program has helped me in my venture is that the aspects of, say, social enterprise, or the courses taught on ethnographic research, where we had to go to communities in Jaipur, or visiting the heritage and cultural sites in Udupi to understand heritage and culture. Because as an engineer, every time you think of a problem, you always have application to slap on, or a hardware device you think about. But the courses at 60 made you take a step back. First, try to understand what is the situation, right? What's happening with the people here, right? What are the cultural norms that are being followed here, right? Do they require a solution to be provided? Because every time we feel, oh, there's a problem, we have to solve it, right? Or are they already having solutions that is being catered by them, right? that sort of perspective, to see from multiple viewpoints, and not just see from a technological standpoint of, okay, let me build a solution, let me build a product, or let me build a hardware device for it. So that's what I could say was a very good take on me for over 2 years of experience. The second best part was that of interdisciplinary projects. It's not that you working on from your own DLI team. We were put to work with different disciplines from different courses, and that combination of working with different teams is what is very much essential if you're into starting your own venture out there, because you need to work or collaborate with designers, you need to work and work with the finance team, right? So from a co-founder standpoint of view, it's more of before I could understand the community, it becomes very essential for me to understand this diversity, work collaboratively. So that collaborative nature has been very much inculcated the course through the transdisciplinary projects. And I'm really happy to be that I've been a part of a course with such depth in terms of how we could work collaboratively in terms of bringing initiatives to life.
Thank you, Gautam. Thank you for that. And we'll move on to our next panelist, our alumna Sanjana. Sanjukta, would you like to introduce us? Then we can. Yes.
So yes, so Sanjana is now currently an user experience designer in Honeywell User Experience India in aerospace department, and she joined Srishti in 2019, and as others, she was very instrumental in collaborating with many faculty members and also taking up projects, going for competitions, and very proactive from the beginning, and also very diligently submitting everything what was needed. So over to you, Sanjana.
Yeah, Sanjana, hi. Just before you start, you are from a very different background, user experience designer. It's now the most sought after, field, as many of our students want to get into that. Tell us a little bit about your background, Sanjana. How did you, how did being in this program's design-led innovation help you to be a user experience designer? That's quite interesting for me. I'm sure for others as well. Please, Sanjana, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mahesh and Sanjukta. Again, thank you, Srishti, for having me here. Means a lot that I can come back and then do something for Srishti. Srishti has done a lot for me in my career. So yes, my background, like Gautam, mechanical engineer. So very traditionally, I've been blackmailed into doing engineering, like every other South Indian family does, I guess. So yeah, and then I ended up choosing mechanical because I thought there would be some aspect of design that I could learn from. And again, relating to Gautam, so there was a team in our college that made formula cars, student formula cars, and then we put it to race. It's called a FSAE event. So ours was the team that wanted to go there, and basically to make a car and then send it to Italy, where the competition was, we needed a lot of money, which means that we had to sell our case, we had to raise money to make this thing. And that's when I dabbled into, like, I did design. There were a lot of events that happen in engineering, fests and all, so that's where posters and all came in. And then I did a bit of graphic design. But that's when we had to do this project, we had to build a story. We had to create, get investors into investing in our project and then say, you have to send us and why. So we did a couple of things to make this work and all. And then I realized I'm really enjoying this. So this probably should be something, for career options that I should consider. So that's when, after a while, like after engineering to Srishti, I had like 2 years in between where I went into my family business because I was needed there then, which is event management. So I did a lot of stuff there as well. And I learned a little bit of business aspects there from my father as well. And now I had to move and do design. And this was the time I was looking at what else can I do in design. And I stumbled about UX, and it seemed pretty good because it revolved around user. And then the principle was you talk to the person you're designing for, they'll tell you what they want. So it felt very simple, clean. So yeah, that's where I got attracted to. And when I was searching for programs, that's when I came across DLI, and it sold all the three things that I kind of did, design, tech, and business. And then it felt a whole complete to what I was looking for. And also pitch, to say I can come back to the family business because there's business also here. So something like that. It all worked somehow, and that's how I landed at DLI, the best decision ever. So yeah, long answer for your short question.
So that's awesome. That's a very interesting. I mean, it's really interesting how people from different backgrounds. I mean, yeah, a lot of students who finish the engineering and come over to Srishti do their masters. We see that all the time. Yeah, I just said, blackmailed, I'm twisted into doing engineering. Yeah, that's good. That's very interesting. So how is it? I mean, the learnings that you experience, how is it helping you in your current position, in your job on a day-to-day life, Sanjana, if you could?
Yes. So right, again, I'm just thinking where to start from. So okay, I'll tell you what I do. So I work, Honeywell works across different domains, and I work in aerospace. So we develop products like engines, sensors, and a lot more things that go into different airplanes. So basically, what I learned from DLI, very specifically, I think the very primary top learning is user experience research. So kind of gets into depth as to what your users or stakeholders really want and how can you get those answers, what are the different methodologies that you could use. So these were the things I really learned. And then I was able to apply this, like Sanjukta said, we were the pandemic batch, and we had a lot of spare time in between where college was figuring what to do with us. So we took part in a lot of competitions, and that's where, we did some industry collabs, we took part in different competitions, and we learned how to work with different teams and our Srishti transdisciplinary programs also. So we interact on and off with different teams to get the work done, to, put out the thing that we really want to show. So in that sense, yeah, coming back to user experience research, very basic, understand what your users want and then deliver. So when it comes to our products, with respect to any hardware, there is tons of data that is generated. So this tons of data that is coming from any equipment also is seen by like a lot of personas, like pilots, fleet managers, maintenance people, like everybody. So this data has to go to different chunks of people for that, again, we have to understand our user. Also, we do a whole lot of high-end customization, like a hardware going into a Boeing needs some changes in order to go into an Airbus. So we have to take care of all these things, and we get that from understanding what these guys want. So a very nice research in that sense. And also another ability, I think DLI has, or at least learned very well, is that, to move from looking at things from a very ant's eye level of view to bird's eye level of view. So we can move across product, service, system thinking to understand the whole range of area to see what aspect can we come in, what can we do different, how can we help. So another thing from Srishti is that we talk about a lot of subjects that are very necessary. I don't know, like at least in the other people I've met from other design schools, don't really have the knowledge in the trending topics like we do, like in terms of feminist HCI or how do we design for sustainability. So we did all of these things in different workshops, studios, and the competitions that we took part in. So that is pretty helpful because we do a lot of futures products and stuff like that. And all the learnings that I've learned from here, speculative design, I'm able to apply like what is my design's application in the future. So I can get that angle because I've done this stuff here in DLI. Yeah, and a very last thing, great faculty. So anytime, we have gotten stuck anywhere or we really need advice, so we could always fall back on Sanjukta, Paul, like Sanjukta at pandemic, we were pretty worried as to what our future was. So she was kind enough to, call alumni, make us meet them, discuss our concerns. So yeah, this is a great place and great program from where I learned a lot of things. Yes. You're on mute, Mahesh. Yeah.
Thank you, Sanjukta. Thank you for the kind words about us and the college and the faculty as well. And we're really happy that the experience. I mean, designing experience is doing well.
One last point. I think the whole question of your this how did UXD happen? So basically, I did a lot of graphic design, like I just said. And I did user experience research in various projects and also interned with Make My Trip for a bit. Then I realized that UXD is something that gives me a balance of both. I am getting the research part that I wanted. I'm also getting design of interfaces at some end. So this is a whole package, best of both worlds, like DLI is. So that's the transition.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sanjukta. Should we go to Rajat now?
Yes. I'll introduce Rajat now. So Rajat is also from the same batch of Sanjana, joined DLI in 2019. Rajat was very much keen into coding at that point of time, and he was very much into that at that point of time. Then he gradually moved to user research. Now he is a UX researcher in Disney and Hotstar. We keep on discussing about research through contents with him, and which is a huge area now. And how do we harness that variety of content which is lying out there in the media industry is something which helps us now to understand behavior better. So Rajat is into it now. So over to you, Rajat, and Mahesh, please.
Yeah, Rajat, interesting. You are with Hotstar, a different background than others. An OTT platform. So I guess the work must be quite interesting over there. Yeah, do tell us about a little bit of your journey, Rajat.
So I did my bachelor's in computer applications, which is predominantly coding. At least the way I was taught coding is something that I didn't really keen. Again, I like coding as a concept, the potential it has to build products and everything. But the way I've been exposed to coding is something I didn't like at that point of the time. But I always knew, okay, having that skill is always a plus for you. Did my bachelor's and I was still confused on where I want to go or where I want to have like career ahead. So that's when towards the end of my semester, I got introduced to UI design, which is basic Android Studio, where you develop apps and everything. That seemed interesting. So eventually I started digging deeper, and I came across this concept called UI UX design, which was a popular thing that was growing up. And that seemed interesting. And I decided to do a master's in design. And that's how I ended up DLI. Initially, I was confused between HCD and DLI. Again, people might say it's the same thing, but again, there were smaller nuances that I was really interested in. So I was having a chat with Sanjukta, and back then my intent was, okay, just forget whatever you learned in your BCA, which is coding, and start fresh. Sanjukta had this idea of, okay, why do you want to waste whatever you learned in the 3 years, and why not build upon something, which is a skill that you already spent considerable time and effort in. That made a ton of sense for me. I also like that, I wouldn't say the business part of the product, but the strategy part of the product. So you don't just do a research, but you also own that product feature or the research per se. You make things happen, and you see the effort that goes into developing these products. And you see when people use these apps, it's a great delight. With personal satisfaction, it's a lot for me whenever I see these things. So I always wanted to do something at scale. So if you want to do something at scale, again, there are a lot of personas, as Sanjana was explaining. There are a lot of users that you need to get a better understanding of. Not just users, after a point, it's the business, it's the system, all this stuff, which is what DLI exposed. DLI, so during the course, we even have this thing called line of inquiry, where you can choose a particular domain that you're interested in, and you can become a domain expert in that per se. So if you start becoming a domain expert, you also start understanding the domain a lot better, and your research skills gets better. You start thinking from a multiple lenses, from multiple stakeholder points of view. That helped me a lot, especially again, although my independent line of inquiry was something around data and like the privacy, but I got through that rigor of doing research and like finding that right problem, which is what helping me in the current industry. All the OTT might seem to be a different domain, but the rigor that I went through that 2 years and like the entire research process that we did is what is helping me right now. So just you create these frameworks in your head and you try to replicate in whichever domain it's possible. So that's how DLI helped me in what I'm doing currently at Disney Hotstar.
Okay. So are you based in Mumbai, or where are you?
No, I was born in Andhra Pradesh, but moved to Bangalore, and I've been in Bangalore since the last 14 years.
Oh, okay. So you're working out of Bangalore. So what do you do there at I mean, if you
Hotstar.
can give us, I mean, yeah.
Okay. Again,
Yeah.
as people know, it's an OTT industry. So our bread and butter is content. There's also this app that app is basically the delivery of the content, whatever the content that the platform produces. So I work across these two verticals. When it comes to the product, there are some initiatives that we started and which I lead. This could be as simple as like, it's also a thing, right? Like if you hear like an organization like Disney and Hotstar, you might feel, okay, these are big organization, user-centric businesses and all that stuff. But in reality, these are slightly different. So when I joined Hotstar, this was in September 2022. I was slightly shocked to see, okay, how this was completely business driven and like not a lot of scope was given to users. So you go back to the foundations, like this is what we learned in the semester one. Okay, everyone is a user. So how do you do your research? How do you understand your stakeholders? How do you basically understand, okay, what works the best? If the user research, the insight might say, oh, this is the best insight, but it needs to make sense from the business lens as well. So you start doing all these things, and eventually we are in a place where we are, okay, working across these two verticals, which is the product and the content. From the content end, again, India is a big market. Like the cultural differences. People in South might like something which the North might not. So you might have to be sensitive on these things. So some of our time goes into talking to these users. Getting access to these users is very easy because everyone watches content. So you try to have a conversation. You get an understanding what kind of content they like, why do they like, all that stuff. And we bring this back to the product and we create this roadmap saying that, okay, this is the kind of TG, which is a target group. This is the kind of content that might help us bringing those audience to a platform. That's one end. The second end, again, which is a product itself. So how do you discover content? How do you search for content? When you are searching for something, how do we show that content? What is the representation? All that stuff, all the usual stuff that goes into the product design. So currently juggling between these two.
All right. Okay. So thank you. Thank you very much, Rajat. So Sanjukta, as we are coming in to the end of the this webinar, there are some the participants here. Do you have any questions? Please let us know. The admissions for round 2 for the academic year 23-24 is open. We just completed round 1 and the entrance exam for it. The round 2 is open. It is going to be open till the end of May, I think the 24th of May, and the next entrance exam will be in the first week of June. All the details are on our website, that's srishtimanipalinstitute.in. It's easily accessible and you can take a look at it. If there's any questions, we'll be happy to take it from the participants. Anything on the course or on the admission requirement, admission process, etc. There's something coming up. Okay. Yeah. So Sanjukta, do you have anything to add, anything to ask them?
No, I think we are more or less done, but so I would just like that if you all have to, especially for Arvind, as I say that you have mentioned that how do you feel that because you are in a role of product management or product lead, and majorly as we see that most of the students from MBA come to this field, right? Means in industry, it is being dominated by them. And for me, I would just like to add few words in it. For me, being in technology domain, followed by business school for a long period of time, I saw a lot of value in the program with my expertise in new product development space. That product needs a lot of creative and human-centered thinking, right? Which I personally feel that there is a gap. Even the business schools are now trying to harness that. And new education policy is also talking about this. So just I would just like to add means through you that how do you feel? Means one is we cannot ignore some kind of leadership and strategic thinking which is needed for a product lead role, and we cannot ignore it, and which we try to accommodate it, and we try to give importance to those topics like economics or econometrics or statistical modeling, and majorly understanding marketing from a much more strong theoretical framework, especially psychology and economics, is something which I feel is core, and operationalizing an idea to the market. That those things are now what we are focusing majorly for our students, which make DLI program little different from other. But yes, definitely Srishti provides a fertile ground for nurturing creativity, which we don't always get in business school. So if you just want to add certain things around it, because product management is an important domain where I personally feel design-led innovation students can really make a mark and compete with MBA students.
Yeah, Sundar, you're right. I would really agree with you. Predominantly, the product managers, I would even probably, if I were to ask Rajat on the product managers in Hotstar, all of them will be MBAs. So there is a certain thought that product management is a lot of analytics and a lot of business metrics that you've got to measure. So it is very apparent that somebody might logically think that there's an MBA who might be able to do it. However, my sense is that can change. Because there is, of course, even though I am from the DLI background, I have had to study a lot of business analytics, understand a little bit of the financial implications of every decision of mine. So those are things that you've got to learn. But there is a certain sense of maybe I would say emotional design, empathy, maybe like Gautam touched upon the idea of what do cultural aspects mean in when you look at a certain problem, and also maybe thinking through systems, how the idea of interdependence, codependence, these are things that we at Srishti everybody keeps talking about. So for me, these are things that are embedded in the way I think, and at the end of the day, creativity is just being able to see things or connect things which are not yet connected. At the end of the day, that's as simple as that. It's not that you try and bring up something new, because whatever you've done in some form or the other has been done before. But you've got to be able to connect apparently disconnected entities. So to be able to do that, you need a little bit of emotional intelligence. You need to be able to understand cultures. You need to understand systems. And here is where I feel the design-led innovation sort of a program really helps. But of course, you've got to add onto it, like you put in. You've got to put in the additional effort of learning the financial aspects as well.
Thank you so much, Arvind. Just my next question is to Gautam, and just to wrap up a few things quickly. And as I think we had discussed before, but I'm just making it a point, we sometimes fail to motivate students to become job creators. We end up making students as job seekers. So though I personally feel that Srishti don't encourage to become a job seeker, but eventually we end up into that. So what do you feel that how do an individual who actually gets 2 years of time to nurture certain kind of original thinking, some novelty can generate through this, which has a lot of opportunity for intellectual property and other things. So where someone can take this individuality and deal with certain challenges and complexity and make it happen the way you had made it happen.
Thanks, Sanjukta. So, what I would see from the opportunities perspective, if I'm to join Srishti this year for this batch, I would say, hey, across India, where is the best place to think about entrepreneurship? No other place than Bengaluru, right? Because this is a cradle where there are so many startups thriving, originating every single day. And you have a plethora of opportunities, events, and collaboration fests that happens every single day, right? Now, this coupled with the knowledge that we get in the program actually helps you to go get out of the building, and that's where all the courses, these courses are not that we sit inside the classroom. Most of our programs are get out of the building, and that's where the problems are, not inside your classrooms, right? So that's where I feel that's the initial step that makes you much more confident to face the world, right? And if you start to incorporate this early on, the more you start talking to people, the more you start communicating with the stakeholders or the end users, and also trying to get perspectives from it may not be only founders, but it also getting perspectives from managers or from team leads in various startup ecosystem and or from various startup companies. That will be a very quick run to understand, hey, if I have to start something of my own, it is possible if you start talking to more of them, right? Now, as I said, being in this ecosystem in Bangalore, with the places like NASCOM 10,000 startups that is being here, there is K-Tech Hub located in Bangalore. There is GymServe, that's again where you have almost like 100 plus startups there located. Most of them, a few of them also in virtual mode. These are places where you can dwell across while you're pursuing your studies, right? And there are plethora of community meetups that happens. Like I was a big fan of Design Up event that happens every year, and even now it's a very big event, which actually put you in touch with the leaders in design, leaders in the business aspect, also in also in large leading companies, and how design works in these spaces across. So I would say, along with your studies or your academic knowledge that you gain in your classes, going out and to community is the approach that you that a student or a participant should take up while he's here at Bangalore, right? And that definitely will. I mean, this is my experience while I did it, because I clearly remember me working along with Arvind in the University of Commons project. We had a couple of community engagements, which were also done in the courses, but these were kind of real interaction that were happening apart from the courses as well, right? Now, that sort of a bridge will happen if you are into design, into understanding the communities, and you're also working along with communities, right? One is to understand them, which is totally a new thing, but then being with the community and trying to do your understanding or your knowledge and applying it is when you understand, oh, this is what was meant in the classroom, right? Oh, this is what we are not supposed to do, though that was like laid down stuff, because we see there are a lot of tools out there Even if you go and find design thinking, there are 5 ways of doing it, there are 10 ways of doing it. But then you will find your own tool sets when you try to interact with the crowd, right? Probably find that, hey, probably design thinking will not work here, right? It could be more of common sense approach that you can take here. And need not always think, okay, let me start with an entry, right? It's not KBC that you start here with the first question. Okay, this is my first question. Let's start answering them. Right? So I feel that's the big approach that we can take. Start early. Start talking to people, and that's how we could begin with the entrepreneurial journey. That's what I would like to say. As I said, it's more of the skill set and the mindset, and the program helps you in building that mindset, because the skill set is something that you can own. You take up a couple of courses online, take up degrees or additional degrees, but mindset can only be built when you work with the like-minded people, and Srishti is the place to find that like-minded people.
Thank you.
so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we come to the end of the program. There was one question from when does it start? The academic year? Academic year, I think this year will start late July or early August. The more details will be on timeline will come on our website. The round 2 again will close sometime in end of May. So 24th of May, that is. So thank you very much, and we will put up the recording of this on our YouTube and social channels. And I hope more and more people will be able, people who are interested in the program will be able to understand the program a little better. And Gautam, Arvind, Sanjana, Rajat, thank you very much. Sanjukta, thank you. Ajit, for running the webinar. Thank you all for this, and yeah, maybe perhaps we'll all meet soon at some point in time at our new campus, which you all must come and take a look sometime or the other. Yeah. Okay.
So looking forward, Mahesh. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Mahesh. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Okay. Bye.